Once you reach a point of moderate success as a musician, or at least a decent budget, you may want to hire on a personal manager, and there are plenty of reasons to do so. Outside of the fact that you could basically be in two places at once, it could mean the difference between being a success and being an absolute dud. So let's talk about when and why you would want one. Now, you're either watching this video because you have never worked with a personal manager and you want to see how the whole operation runs, or you're not satisfied with your current manager and you want to see how he measures up. Whatever your case may be, you came to the right place. With that being said, let's dive right in and talk about the major roles of a personal manager. First of all, I want to clear the air about the difference between agents and personal managers because a lot of people get them confused. Now, agents are concerned with booking events for you in the near future, and that's about it. Personal managers are concerned with every single aspect of your business and long-term goals. You could think of them as more like the COO to your CEO. First of all, they will be involved in big and small decisions for your career, whether it be what sound you're going for on a record or whether or not you want to hire on a new musician. So they should have a good general understanding of what direction you want to take your career. Second, they act as promoters. Not only will they hype you to fans and friends and everybody on the street, but they also want to get big industry execs and top players involved in what you're doing. Third, they will act as strategists. Think of a major war general and his number two. When I say number two, I can't help but think of Dr. Evil and Austin Powers, but you should probably figure out somebody a little nicer. You want to figure out the best possible position and the best possible course of action to launch your career. And lastly, they will maintain relationships with everybody else involved in your career, whether it be agents or photographers or lawyers. They can basically hand money down to different people, or they can give them different tasks to do with your permission. Now, let's say you already have a bunch of potential candidates for your personal manager. We're going to go through the things that you should figure out about them in order to make your decision. First, you want a manager that's absolutely crazy about what you're doing. And I know this might sound like a cliche, but look at it this way. Some people go for the manager that's already very established and is working with big name artists, and that might be cool to have that person, but you also might not get the attention you want because they're dealing with the clients that, actually bring them money right now. So really, all you need is somebody with in-depth knowledge about the industry, a general understanding of the goals you're going for, and somebody who can help shape your sound. That being said, you'll want to make the expected requirements of your potential client absolutely clear by laying out every single term you expect them to help with. As your employer, it is your responsibility to let them know what they will be doing. Third, do a good background check on the person that you're interviewing. Ask for references of bands they've managed or people that they've managed, and call those folks up and see what their track record is like. Essentially, get the skinny on how they do in the business. The reason this step is important is because unlike anybody else who's involved in your career, this person will know the most intimate details of everything that is going on. So you want somebody who's reliable, loyal, and hardworking in that position. I cannot stress that enough. Fourth, try to get a good understanding of their educational background. And I don't just mean general academics. I mean their knowledge of how the industry is and how separate entities within the industry function. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get our hands real dirty and go into the topic of compensation. Now, most good general managers who know what they're doing will ask for a percentage of your gross income, which means that once all your money comes in, they'll take their cut off the top before anything else comes out of the pot. You should limit that percentage to 20%, but no managers will take less than 14 or 15%, so expect a number between that range, and that number typically fluctuates between deals depending on what they are. And here's an example. I was once in a country band where the personal manager was not happy with the amount he was getting, so we had to renegotiate. We then came to the conclusion that he would get 17% of gross income, and then once the album had released, he would get 15% of gross income. Now, this might sound like we're trying to screw over the manager, but we're really not, and he ended up taking the deal. The reason is because he knew that 15% of $3,000 was a lot better than 17% of $1,000. After a certain point, you may be able to offer them a salary if you so choose, but it's not a good idea right off the start. As anybody who does freelancing work in their local community knows, 1 month could bring in $5,000, the next month could bring in $2,000, so it's just really tough to do this right from the start. Now, it's extremely important to impress on the manager the money they will not be getting paid, and that's things like money that just passes through their hands or money that really doesn't have anything to do with the work they put in. This would include things like giving the manager money to give to the lawyer for contracts or hiring on a songwriter for a batch of songs. Most managers know this, but it's not a bad idea to just lay out the terms so everybody is on the same page. And now a quick word about terms. You remember my last video about record labels where we talked about the term of a deal? The same thing applies to anybody on your team, like an agent or a lawyer or whoever. You can basically set up a contract to describe the number of years or the number of album cycles they'll stay on, and those can all be conditional. There have been several books out there that I've seen where the condition has been something like this. We will keep this manager on for 2 years, and at the end of those 2 years, our album has come out, and if we've made $50,000 off that album, we will re-up with that manager and create a new contract. If not, then we dump that guy and we look for somebody else. Now that is basically all I can give you for now, but there is one more thing I wanted to bring up because I've seen it a lot, and I also learned this lesson not from music, but other businesses that I've been involved in. It is an extremely dangerous idea to have a family member as a personal manager. Now, don't get me wrong, there's family businesses out there and it can work from time to time, but in the realm of music, a lot of the time it can be a ticking time bomb for 2 main reasons. Number 1, a personal manager sometimes has to make decisions that'll stress the artist out physically, mentally, and emotionally, but it's all for the good of the company in order to get the business to new heights. A family member may not want to do this, or it may not even occur to them, so they won't take the steps to make those decisions. And number 2, God forbid, let's say something goes horribly wrong with your music career and now you owe your personal manager, who is also your dad, $7,000. That could lead to tons of family drama, and now you've just lost your personal manager at a time where you needed them most. Now, this may sound incredibly conditional, but remember, when you're starting out, you'll just have friends and you'll have people you know in the industry. So you'll hire on a personal manager that you're at least semi-comfortable with, and that relationship is going to get difficult from time to time. So make sure it's somebody you can really rely on to be there through those tough moments. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I have for you right now. Leave a comment below with any other questions you have. Make sure you hit that subscribe button with the notification bell. I would really appreciate it. Other than that, stay educated, stay informed, and send me your music so I can hear it. See you later. Hey, did you like that last video? If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down there. Make sure you hit the notification bell along with it to get all the updates. It'll also let the little elves and robots at YouTube know that more people want to see content, which would be pretty great.